Yeah, today we will discuss about the poet Elizabeth Bishop. So we have read The Fish, the poem The Fish by Bishop yesterday. So now let's have a brief look at the author. So Elizabeth Bishop, the noted American poet who lived between the time 1911 and 1979, was recognized with numerous awards during the course of a career, including the Pulitzer Prize. So some of the iconic poems are again given in this list here. So in this iconic poems, you cannot any way avoid the poem we have already read, that is The Fish. So Elizabeth Bishop is like a notable figures in American literature, and she lived during the time 1911 and 1979. And she been recognized during the course of her career. She been recognized with many numerous awards, including the Pulitzer Prize, and she been like the Poet of America even. And not a particularly prolific writer. She was not particularly called a prolific writer because of the case. During the time she lived these years, at least some 50 years of literary career, only she produced 101 poems. So she wasn't a prolific writer, but everything was measured and given out. Not a particularly prolific writer, Bishop published only 101 poems during her lifetime. Her literary reputation has grown since her death, and now her reputation has increased much even after her death, with the poems like One Night, A Miracle for Breakfast, Sestina, and The Fish. So at least these 4 poems you will have to read: One Night, A Miracle for Breakfast, Sestina, and The Fish. Fish we are dealing in our syllabus. But anyhow, when you pick an author, you will have to read certain other works, and so you can refer back to One Night, A Miracle for Breakfast, and Sestina. So whenever you will be referring about the author in your answer sheets too, you will have to refer about these works in addition to The Fish. As a poet, Bishop took great care to rewrite and revise her works. So she took great care, and this might be one of the reasons why she produced only 101 poems in her career in a lifetime. She didn't give the reader much of a glimpse into her own life. So once a reader, if you read out, you cannot understand a glimpse of her life from her poems, but instead her poems contained intimate observations of the physical world. It's very important. So her poems contained intimate observations of the physical world. So instead of giving a glimpse into a personal life, her poems contained intimate observations about the physical world. She often expressed themes of loss and the struggle to find one's place in the world in universal rather than personal way. So all her themes of loss and struggle, so post-colonial time, and there is no country that was refrained from loss and struggle. So her poems often expresses the themes of loss and struggle, and to find one's place in the world in universal rather than personal way. So you will have to find your place in the world in a universal matter rather than taking the personal notes to a writer. So her poetry stood in contrast to her contemporaries. So you can even have a look on the like poets like Robert Lovell and Annie Sexton. So our contemporaries were Robert Lovell and Annie Sexton. So even though they like contemporaries, our poems stood always different. Her poetry stood in contrast. It was even opposite of the ideas what Robert Lovell and Annie Sexton expressed in their poems. So some iconic poems are given here: The Map, The Fish, One Night, A Miracle for Breakfast, In the Waiting Room, I'm in Need of Music. What you can do is you can search for the poems, and the links would directly lead you to these poems and the writers and the analysis and all such details what you need. So you can read from there. And Sestina and Florida, all these were the like iconic poems out of 101 poems she had to her credit. And in 2015 book on Elizabeth Bishop, Irish author Com Toibin wrote, writing for Elizabeth Bishop was not self-expression, but there was a self somewhere, and it was insistent in its presence, yet tactful and watchful. Now according to Com, the Irish author, writing for Elizabeth Bishop was not though it was not self-expression, but there was a self somewhere. Though it was not self-expression, you could find the self somewhere within the poems, and it was insistent, it was very prominent there, it was prevalent there in its presence, tactful and watchful, and it was quite watchful and tactful to know the presence inside the poems. Bishop's writings bore the marks, many of them deliberate, of much rewriting of things that had been said but had now been erased or moved into the shadows. Now Many of her poems took the deliberate purpose to rewrite so many things, which were now erased. Some things which never wanted the writers wanted to express and bring to the full light. This writer has brought it out here, and that intention was very deliberate and much rewriting. So she was just rewriting all the norms and rules set until then, and much rewriting of things that had been said, but now it's been erased or moved into the shadows. Things measured and found too simple and obvious, or too loose in the emotional contours, or too philosophical were removed. Words not true enough were cut away. So what she had done is things that she measured too simple and obvious, and too loose in the emotional contours, or too philosophical, and they were removed. And words not true enough were cut away. So they were having the deep meanings inside the poems. That is very clear from these lines. What remained was then of value. So what remained in our poems was just value, but mildly so. It was much as could be said. Given the constraints, this great modesty was also in its way a restrained but serious ambition. In the poetics of uncertainty, there was something hurt and solitary. So now, in our poems, like with the word something hurt means there is a glimpse of, there is exactly somewhere there is a presence of inner self even coming, though deliberately she was not doing that, or purposely deliberately she never wanted such self-expressions or personal things to come in her poems. It echoed according to the Irish author Combe. And there was something hurt and solitary. So something like, so the emotions that could hurt and solitary matters that could take your minds, all these were seen in the poems. For analysis of the poems of Elizabeth Bishop, in addition to the above slim volumes by Combe, critical biographies are enlightening. So you can even biographies of Elizabeth Bishop by different authors, Megan Marshall, Susan McCabe, and all these Becoming a Poet, Elizabeth Bishop, and Marianne Moore and Robert Lovell by David Catstone. So all these you can just refer when you will have, actually whenever you will be like presenting a paper or you are giving an assignment, you will have to refer all these books and you will have to give an assignment. What we for listeners do is we will just have a summary. We will just make out the easiness of the ways which is possible, and we'll just give. So if possible, find out these books and at least just go through all them, not to have a thorough reading, but like a skimming of the pages is even perfect. So some poems are given here. And the fish, I caught a tremendous fish and I held him beside the boat, half out of water with my hook fast in the corner of his mouth. He didn't fight, he hadn't fought at all. He hung a grunting weight, battered and venerable and homely. Here or there, his brown skin hung in strips, like ancient wallpaper, and its pattern of dark brown was like wallpaper. Shapes like full-blown roses, stained and thought and lost through age. He was speckled with barnacles, fine rosettes of light. So you can, I don't have to repeat this again. Pretty, we have read it yesterday. So you just go with the poem again, fish once again, and with the author, with the details about the author, Elizabeth Bishop, major poems of Elizabeth Bishop, iconic poems you could say of Elizabeth Bishop, the characteristics that kept away from contemporaries like Robert Lovell and Annie Sexton. So her poems contained, so characteristics about her poems are her poems contain intimate observations of the physical world. And again, she often expressed themes of loss and struggle to find one's place in the world and universe rather than personal way. But according to Combe, there is even some presence of, there is somewhere some self-expression somewhere. There was a self somewhere. But it was used very tactfully and it was very watchful to know all this. Bishop's writings bore the marks, many of them deliberate, much rewriting, and many of the writings of Bishop were the rewritings of things that had been said but now been erased. So some things which was not pleasant, which was told, was again rewritten and reproduced by Elizabeth Bishop. So this was, and again now when they have moved their way into darkness, she has put it again back to her works. It's the beautiful pictures of even the author is given in this. So many poems are here in the file I'll be sharing. You can find many poems. You can make reading of all those. And now after this we will be discussing about the poem as such.